All right, good afternoon and welcome to the next edition, this edition of the Member Spotlight. I'm excited to be here with Jason LiCavoli because it's kind of a full circle journey for us. I've known Jason for better than 25, maybe 30 years now.
Yeah, good old high school days.
Yes.
Grade school days, I think, yeah.
Yeah, where'd you go to grade school?
Well, I went to Troutwine for grade school.
Not grade school.
Washington Junior, and then Melville.
It was high school.
Oh, was it high school? Okay.
Yeah,
high school, all right.
we met in high school. Jason was one of the cool kids.
All right. Nice.
So this is where we need like post editing so we can put that song. I wish that I could be like the cool kids. We need to put that.
I like it.
We need to put that in there.
That in. All right.
So production value, Kevin, who's our videographer kind of guy, is going to learn all that.
Cool.
But Jason, honestly, man, seriously, I'm so excited to be here with you. You're the newest, well, not the newest because there's been members since, but you're one of the newest members of Nexcore, and you came to us with a vision of what you want to do. And I don't want to spill all of the beans, but I want to be able to give the audience a little bit of a teaser. But in order for that teaser to make sense, we got to go back and we got to hear the history, because I've watched you go through some stuff.
I've been through some things.
And I want to talk about that too, because how would you, I guess let's start with this. If we had to break your career down and define you into a box, what the hell are you?
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
That much I could clarify.
I've tried a lot of things.
Right?
I've had a lot of successes. I've had a lot of failures. But I made a decision when I lost my corporate America job that I was going to be an entrepreneur, and I just stuck with it.
Have you punched the clock for somebody since then?
A couple times. Had a couple hiccups. Had to, start popping out kids. You got to pay them bills. So
right.
I've had to do what I had to do to get by, but short periods of time. But always had a side hustle, right? Always had entrepreneur going. So that part never dies.
Yeah, I've been fired from some really good gigs too.
Right.
So I understand the serial entrepreneur, but let's kind of pigeonhole you a little bit now. Let's get you into a category. For most of your adult career that I've known you, you've been involved in real estate in some way, shape, form, capacity. So, and there have been some ups and downs in real estate.
Absolutely.
So tell me about your real estate career, what you've gone through, kind of what facet or what area you focus on in real estate.
Well, so I bought my first flip property in 2003, right? April 2003, so it's been 15 years. And the evolution of real estate investing has been quite diverse for me. Done a lot of different things, right? Mostly single family, residential, retail sale, rehab the house, sell it, the kind of stuff you see on TV. It's what I've kind of done always, but I've peppered in a lot of
There's
other
a
pieces.
Hint there, the kind of stuff you see on TV.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
I threw that in there.
Right.
But I've dabbled in other things. So I've always had rental property. I've always done some wholesaling, done some commercial, multifamily, 2 and 4s, nothing real big commercial. But anything real estate, when an opportunity comes along, I try to take advantage. Was in the mortgage business for a little bit. I was a licensed agent a couple different times. That's a tough gig, by the way. I'm not a licensed agent and proud of it.
Hats off to those that can do it.
I know, man. Whew, I don't envy those.
I've been that world.
You know that, right? It looks easy. It ain't. And so, but I've done a lot of different things. I flipped over 100 houses myself.
Wow.
And I've done a lot of the wholesaling. Just like I said, whenever an opportunity comes along. So. I'm in Florissant, I'm in Festus, I'm in Illinois, I'm wherever the deal comes. I tell people, if there was a deal in Tokyo, Japan, the numbers made sense, I'd probably do it. So I'll go wherever,
Well, the numbers would make sense. If I could travel to Tokyo for free and have the numbers make sense,
I would do it.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I've known you through some really rough situations in real estate. So there's a lot of people that, I'm gonna name drop a little bit here, and you're probably, some of these will sound familiar, but if you've ever been up, let's go back about 10 or 15 years. If you're up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, you knew you could make $1 million because Carlton Sheets told you so.
Oh yeah, he's hollering at you every night for sure.
Right,
and it's easy. You just buy his $500 course, and you're gonna be a millionaire.
Exactly. And then I hear things like some good programs and reputable people. I hear Robert Kiyosaki all the time, and he's got programs, and Van Merrill's got programs, and there's all kinds of programs out there. But I imagine the programs give you the outline, but not necessarily the instructions. So tell me your take as an expert. 100 homes makes you, in my opinion, kind of an expert.
I mean, I've seen a lot.
I believe you. And we're going to talk about
I've
what
also
you've seen.
like those. I've done those deals, but always been involved, networking and been involved with the local market, and so I've seen a lot of other people's deals. So I learn a lot from them. It's not only your mistakes; it's other people's mistakes, and you learn from the mistakes. If you hit home runs every time you get up there, you're not learning. It's when you strike out that you learn. So I had a lot of strikeouts, right? So what I can tell you is I've spent a lot of money on my education. I've done the guru seminars. I've done the weekend workshops. I bought the courses. I've done all that. Over 15 years, I've spent a lot of money and time and effort on education because you got to have education. But the best education comes from doing. And that's the problem with most people who attend these workshops, right? You go for a weekend, you get all jacked up, you're excited about the concept, but it remains a concept. And then you're looking for houses and you're talking about it. Maybe you start going to local real estate investment clubs and you start watching YouTube videos, and you spend enough time that you should have made $1 million, but you haven't done a deal. And I got people that they're still getting their ducks in a row 15 years later. Like I met 15 years ago, they're still getting their ducks in a row, still trying to get all figured out. Do it, you'll figure out a lot more. It's risky. It's all risky. I mean, you're risking your time and your money and your effort, whether you're getting educated or you're doing the deal. So, like I said, I've done a lot of that education, and it is good and it is effective, but nothing beats real world experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's true in any industry. So 100 flips, do you have a dollar amount? Just a ballpark of properties? What were all the closes? What did they total? We're in the millions.
I'd say on average, because in the beginning I was doing more turnkey rental properties, lower end. So I'd be in the 40 to 80,000 price point, right? So I'm in the lower end, but then I graduated. So everything in real estate for me is BC, right? In 2008, when the crash happened, it was like all the stuff that happened before the crash is BC. Right. And then after is like the AD, right? So the last 10 years has been 5 years of major struggle, and the last 5 years have been ramping up and back to where things are going well. So it's kind of like 5-year increments. So I had the first 5 years of my quote unquote career that was ramped up. I mean, we had, it's like a construction crew. I had my own construction company. Instead of outsourcing, I had my own. We had 6 people full time, and commercial building and trucks and advertising on Cardinals games, and doing a lot of things like ramping up. And then the market crashes, and I'll never forget December 2007, my first deal fell through for financing. And I'm like, what's going on? This guy's bought several properties from me. This is really weird. And those liar loans, the ones where just tell me how much money you make and just sign right here and everything's going to be fine. And those went away overnight. And so when that happened, it was like a year of being in denial that this is kind of the end of the good times, right? Because there was some good times. And and of course I get married in 08, start popping out kids, and so my life just took another direction. So I got 5 years in the beginning, and then I got 5 years of just things are tight. And then the last 5 years have been getting better, and always had rental properties throughout. So to me, that's the bread and butter that keeps the bills paid. And I don't have a ton of them because that's a big headache. So just a few rentals kind of keeps you floating no matter what happens. And but getting back to education, so
how many rentals do you have right now?
I have 4 rental properties right now. Okay. So and that's all I need to have to suffice when I'm between. So it's a feast and famine world when you're flipping property, right? So you buy the house. Let's just say rough numbers. You buy a house for 50, and you put in 20, and you sell it for 100. So it takes 4 months, 6 months before purchase to close. So in 6 months, you'll make 20 grand. And if you do a couple of those every 6 months, let's say you do 4 to 6 projects a year. That's all I need to make what I need to make to support my family. So it's I get to spend a lot of time with my kids, and I love my life. It's awesome. But I also know that this ain't just how it is. In a couple years, I anticipate the market to shift. So I'm playing my cards today, knowing that I'm knowing that in 2 years it's going to change. Now it might not crash like it did last time, but it'll be different. It'll be different, and it'll look different, and the demand will be different. And whether it's money's easy to get right now, right? But contractors are hard to get, right? So like that'll probably flip flop, because that's what happened to me in 2009 and 2010. Most of my rentals, we had about 12 rentals, and then most of them were rented to people in the construction industry. Well, there's no jobs for these guys, and I feel bad. They got family, they got bills to pay, so I want to work with them. And I tell you what, and I've talked to a lot of my friends who are veterans in this business, been doing it longer than me, and they went through some tough times, and a lot of people lost a lot of property. So I mean, for me, luckily, I never had to file bankruptcy, never got foreclosed. It was a blessing and a curse, kind of, because I probably could have cleaned the slate and not had a hole to fill. But that's what I chose to do, and so knock on wood. Hopefully that's wood. Underneath. But so yeah, but getting back to education, this is really important. So it's a double-edged sword, because you need the information, right?
Sure.
So you understand, and you need a context, because there's a lot of verbiage that gets thrown around. There's a lot of, you're dealing with big money. I mean, this could change your life for the good or for the worse. So,
right.
So you don't just want to just wing it. But a lot of these out-of-town guys swoop in, and it's an exciting thing. You go for a Saturday free course or whatever, and they sell you on this dream, and the dream is coming out of the numbers they're using coming out of California. So yeah, you can flip a house and make $100,000 in California. Like, it's no big deal. Cost of living is different there. The value of property is different there. The market is different. So the reason why, and getting back to my concept with what I'm getting ready to do here and what we're going to talk about later, is St. Louis is a unique market, right? We're a really big, small town, and we have a lot of little niche neighborhoods. And if you're from St. Louis, it's so funny how people ask, what high school did you go to, right? That's the question. Because people don't leave St. Louis. And almost anywhere in the country you go, they got some sort of connection to St. Louis. It's a really big, small town. So we have a different dynamic. So when the out-of-town people come in for education, it's good context to use. But if you think you're going to be able to just take that course and go out and crush it, the chances are you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to tap into the local people, build your network, start collaborating with other folks. I mean, that's what it takes, in my opinion, to make it in this business. So.
For sure. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about your family, because I know that's important to you, and your growing up family. I know there's different. So tell me about growing up. So, I know your parents. It's an interesting dynamic. They got a lot of energy and they're a lot of fun. What was it like growing up? Your father was an immigrant, correct?
Yeah. He came to America when he was 13 years old, from a small town outside of Palermo, Sicily. And so, I grew up kind of Little Italy, And it's funny because I didn't know any different, right? My mom's American, blonde hair, blue eyes, so I get the American side, I get the Italian side, the Sicilian side. And it's very different, right? I mean, there's a lot of what's the word, passion on the Sicilian side. Very, very outspoken people.
And you talk with your hands a lot?
And talk with the hands a lot. So that's one dynamic, and I learned from that. So my dad was a union carpenter, right, for 35 years. But my whole family, just a lot of hard workers and a lot of entrepreneurs. So whether it's, my dad's a union carpenter, but he's doing side businesses. I mean, he's fixing his home. He's helping other people in my family. He owned a restaurant for a little while. I mean, he's always been entrepreneur-minded. Sure. My uncles, run properties. Just so the entrepreneurship has kind of been there. But for me, my dad wanted me to go to college, so I go to St. Louis University, graduate, get my little marketing degree, got my corporate job. That's what my dad's dream was for me. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and like that bug never went away, So growing up, it's like I had a younger sister and a younger brother, and everybody has their own opinion of how things should go. Well, my dad wanted us to have a family business, right? And first he wanted to do a restaurant, and it's like, I got my aunts and uncles, they got restaurants, that's a tough gig. So he's like, what about, fixing up houses and stuff? So I bought my first house when I was still in college, which was 1999, and fixed it up and lived in it. So it wasn't like a flip, but we ended up selling it and making money, and it ended up being a flip. But So kind of caught the bug then, and I got my real estate license, and my dad's like, what about getting involved with real estate investing? And so I hooked up with some people. My friend Marlene, awesome, love Marlene. She actually hooked me up with a guy named Tim Grimmett. Shout out to Tim Grimmett. He's the one that I partnered with him on my first deal. We did a 50-50 split. And that's what I tell people. That's how I got started in this business. That's how I recommend other people to do it. I mean, you can get all the education in the world, but get somebody to lock arms with you and go do it, you're going to learn a ton. So getting back to my dad, I know I'm kind of all over the place.
That's all right.
But getting back to my dad, so we ended up going into business together. And it wasn't the plan. The plan was he was going to loan me some money so I could fix this house up, and I was going to sell it. He was going to come help me do a little work. We ended up jumping in bed together, and we were in business for probably about 10 years. So the first 5 years of good times, and then 5 years of rough times. We made it through together that whole way. So the last 5 years, he's retired. He needs to relax. He needs to take a break. He still works. He watches my kids. That's his job now.
That's a job.
That's a job. I got 4 kids. It's a full-time job. But I think that my work ethic, I learned that from my father, right? He worked hard always. And he looked at coming to America as an opportunity. I mean, an opportunity he did not have where he's from. He's from a tiny little town outside of a big city, quote unquote, on a little island in the Mediterranean Sea. You know what I mean? So, relatively, like, in the United States, there's opportunity that just does not exist there. And his whole family, everybody's done well in relation to probably where they would be from the old country. Right. So I'm grateful for that. I feel like if I didn't have him in my life and his world experience, his viewpoint, I would not be the same person I am today, right? Like I probably would take that corporate job and be comfortable. But instead, I strive for more. I want something else. I want my freedom, because to me, that's what America's about. And I also don't want to be limited as to my income. So in real estate, I could make more money, but I choose to have a family life. And so I find my own balance, and I'm in control, which is what real estate investing is, to me, is what it's all about. So that's what I love. And did I answer your question? You felt like you answered.
You did. No, you did. And I just want to let you know, I knew it was going to be like this.
Right. We're like,
so this is
I'm rabbit hole in one issue. I don't know.
We have a question. All right, we got a question. We got a question from someone watching. So Taylor, who's the question from? First of all.
So it's from Dre Montez.
All right, cool.
And it's a real estate investment question.
Okay, what's up?
He wants to know, Jason, is it a good idea to purchase a rehab project with cash if it's under $15K?
Okay, so first of all, the banks don't loan under $50,000, right? So that's kind of the cap for them, or the minimum, I guess, for them to be able to be profitable on a loan. So if you were planning on buying anything under the $50,000 price point, you definitely don't want to go to a bank. Now, private money and hard money, they're going to loan you whatever amount of money that you need. So, and we'll get into that maybe a little bit later. So there's plenty of sources
probably another
for money.
segment.
I was going to say money's easy, but I want to make sure I say that, right?
Yeah.
Money is not your problem. They will throw money at you,
and everybody thinks it is.
And that's the biggest hurdle.
Everybody thinks money is a hurdle.
That's the easiest part.
Not.
It's the easiest part. If you have a deal where you're buying 50 cents on the dollar, I got 10 people that loan you the money
right now
all day long.
Credit means nothing.
They don't even need your name. They need the address and they know where to send you the check. You know what I mean? So yes, if it's a $15,000 property and you have cash, that's the way to go, because initiation fees, like most of my hard money people, they're going to want $1,500 minimum. So they want 3 points up front to get a loan, but $1,500 is the minimum. So you're paying 10% fee to borrow $15,000. That's a ridiculous amount of money. So if you have cash, if it's under $30,000, you definitely want to use your own cash, or grandma or aunt, uncle, mom, dad, somebody, right? You can leverage 401k, man. We can get all. I'm going down a rabbit hole because. And we'll get in. I think we'll do some more segments about.
Yeah, let's shift a little bit. Dre, I love you, man. I will tell you that part of what we're going to get into, Jason's going to be available for these types of questions on an ongoing basis. Part of what we'll get into in a little bit is that he wants to be available. He wants to help people. He wants to share 100 deals and 20 years worth of experience. So we're going to get into that a little more, but great question. I want to get back to your family real quick, and if there's more questions, interrupt us. So you grew up locally here in St. Louis in South County, and you left the family home However, share.
Okay, so, and again, it goes back to the BC, right? When the market crashes, my dad built a new house out in Potosi, and so my brother's younger than me, and he didn't have a choice, right? Poor Dave, he's probably gonna watch this and be like, "You didn't even mention me." So he was a worker too, right?
Shout out to Dave.
Yeah, but he was a worker too, and so my dad and I and my brother would do these projects together, and he was always involved. And what was your question again about?
How'd you end up back at your parents'
my house?
Right. It's now your house.
So when the market was good and the money's there, my dad bought a property out in Potosi on a little lake, gonna retire, right? And built this big giant house, and everybody kind of did their thing and went out there. Well, he was going to sell his house in South County. And at the time, I had a girlfriend, wasn't married, had no kids, and it's a 2,000 square foot house in South County. I don't need a house like that. But there was a lot of sweat and tears that went into that house, right? Over 20 years or whatever. We lived there 30 years, actually. And so they were going to sell the house, and I said, if I can afford to buy it, I'd rather buy it. So my brother was living in the basement. So I'm going to buy this house from my parents.
And you bought a brother.
My brother came with the house. Which is, and that's the other thing. Like, our family's so tight, and we've got a big family. Even my mom's and my dad's side, pretty big family. And so, we spend a lot of time together. And the culture in Sicily is, you build onto your home for your kids to live with you. That happens all the time. And so tight family, always together, no big deal. So when my parents watch my kids and they stay in the basement, right? So there's a bedroom and a kitchen and a living room. It's a whole nother house down there. That's how the day goes roll. I shouldn't say that. This is live. I'm gonna get in trouble. But
hashtag.
Yeah. So. But no, having a kitchen in the basement, common, for Italian families. And so it's like a little apartment. So my parents get to stay there. And my brother, he finally has his own place now. But he was with us for probably 3 or 4 years. And, I'm popping out kids, and I'm popping them out. My wife's popping them out. And he's still there. And it was a unique dynamic. Most people don't experience that. And there's good and bad, right? Like, I don't know, we could go down that rabbit hole too. But needless to say, so I bought my home that I grew up in and have a lot of the same neighbors, which is kind of surreal. Because I used to ride my bike through their yard and, got yelled at by a lot of them. And now they see me, obviously a little bit differently. I go to the monthly meetings and participate in a different way. So
right. That's too funny.
But, it's weird to just live in the home you grew up in, right? But it's also, it's a blessing because I'm comfortable with the area. I know most of my neighbors. I know my dad built most of the things in the house, and he don't mess around. You can hang from the kitchen cabinets, and the floor is perfect, and the trim is nice. Everything's nice. He's a perfectionist. So I get that advantage. But again, it's just surreal to be living in the same home that you grew up in. So
sure,
we painted it, and it looks different, but it's still the same.
But
house,
it's the same. Yeah. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. How long have we been on?
It's got a solid 15 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so there's a lot to cover. So I want to talk for a minute about your weight loss journey.
Okay.
Because that's a big deal. And you went through some significant health challenges.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know to what degree of comfort you have in sharing some of that backstory, but let's take just, if we could, a minute or two and talk about what it was like, because you got pretty big.
Yeah, and there's a lot of variables there, of course, but I had money, and when the real estate market crashes and you lose everything, right, and then you start having a family, and there was a depression there, right, and it's also not like diagnosed with depression, but you're sitting around and not working and feeling down on yourself, and all those pieces of the puzzle come together, and it's like, oh, that was depression. So put on a lot of weight, and I was out of control. And so I didn't know, it's like, I've lost probably 10,000 pounds over my life, right? Like, you lose 20 pounds, and you gain it back, and you go up and down. So it's, I got to a point where it's like my life is on the line. You know what I mean? Like, it was really bad. And I was on a lot of medications, and I'm like, where am I headed here? So, and again, lose weight, gain back, lose weight, gain back. So a friend of mine had bariatric surgery about 5 years prior to when I had, because I had mine about 4 years ago. And so a friend of mine had, and he was a big guy, right? And I saw him like, holy cow, this guy looks totally different. Talking about all the energy he had, all the things he was able to do, getting off the medication. And so I said, I got to look into this. I mean, I got to take it serious. I got to check it out. So I went and looked at it, found out more about it, got educated, and said, this is the plan for me. So I've lost over 200 pounds in the last 4 years. And like, you know, I'm sure everybody's jealous of my physique, but I was much worse off than I am now, right? And I'm not on any medication. I have a ton of energy. I keep up with my freaking kids. I'm out there coaching the soccer team. I mean, I'm doing stuff that I just...
And basketball.
Well, I did that for, that was a while ago. But
that was like a... I'm the coach.
No, it's like nobody's here. I guess I'm the coach. I don't know. Right. And so my wife has had bariatric surgery. My dad had bariatric surgery. And I've had probably a dozen or two friends and people that just maybe friend of a friend, they'll reach out to me, man, I see your transformation, I need to do something about my life, and just a ton of people around me have done it and had a lot of success, changing lives like crazy. And it's not the solution for everybody, but it was the solution for me, and it just gave me a whole new lease on life. So, and I'm grateful for it. And at the same time, it's not easy. It don't matter what, there ain't no magic fix. I mean, there's different versions of bariatric. Again, I'm a rabbit hole guy, I go down that rabbit hole, but we're just going to cut it. So, needless to say, lost 200 pounds. And you can imagine what that does for your life in all aspects. I mean, I sleep better, I look better, I feel better, and I have more energy, and everything is better. So if anybody's like wanting to lose weight, I always tell them this is not the solution for everybody. It's not a quick fix. You still got to not eat, and you got to exercise. There ain't no way around it.
You got to eat right.
You got to eat. Right. You got to eat. You got to eat right. But you also, and when I say exercise, you just have to up the level of activity, no matter what it is, you know? So when I was in that depressed period, I wasn't working on the houses. There was no houses to work on, right? I'm sitting at home. I got 2 babies at home, and, you know, it just wasn't active. And, you know, when you don't have money and you don't have anything to do, you just get depressed and you eat. You sit around and eat, right? I come from a big Italian family. We eat good food. So, I mean, it's hard not to eat.
Your dad's muscatone is stupid.
It's off the chain, right?
It is. So, but, I mean, part of it, too, is you can still splurge once in a while. But, like, a number 12 shouldn't involve math. No, it's not 4 number 3s. It's like you got to control it a little bit. Yeah.
Well, and I cut fast food out completely. I drink a ton of water. I still do. 4 years, I drink about a gallon a day. So to me, like, that's what it takes. And that's what I learned. I mean, I drew a line in the sand saying, I'm going to do this. And when the nutritionist said, do this, I just did it. Wow. And that's why I had this success. I mean, there's a ton of people that don't have success because you can still put the food in your mouth. And nothing's going to stop that but you know? So,
exactly.
So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience, but I always tell people, like, it is not the solution for everybody.
So we have a couple things we need to cover, and we have a short amount of time to do it. So I'm gonna take Jim and Jason out of this for a minute, and let's get some short answers to these questions. So, if you've ever driven down the highway and you've seen a car that's wrecked, everybody's because people like to see things that you don't see every day. That's probably a poor example, but I bet going through houses, you've seen some stuff.
I have seen some things.
So I watched some of your Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
Which is another hint about what's coming down the pike.
Yeah.
But I've seen you walk in and just like stacks of stuff. So I want to hear, first of all, 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
The craziest situation you've ever seen in a house that you were thinking about buying, whether you bought it or not. What's the craziest thing you ever saw?
Craziest thing I ever saw? That's a tough one. I've seen a lot of things. So the one house is right here in the city, actually, and I think it sat vacant for like maybe 20 years.
Oh.
And the roof was damaged. Big house, 3-story house. It wasn't Clifton Heights, close to this area.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful architecture, right? You walk in, you look up, it's skylight, right? And not a good kind of skylight.
In a 3-story?
Nature made, in a 3-story house.
So from the ground, you can see all the way up?
All the way up.
Okay.
So you can imagine the moisture, like it wasn't all open, but there was holes from where it would leak. So then, and it's bad, right? But you go in the basement, and the mold was like, I've never seen it before. It looked like cotton candy hanging from the floor joists. The walls were just coated in this green and white funky mix. And I mean, when you walk in, you can smell the mold. As soon as you go downstairs, it punches you in the face. And I've never experienced, like, I think 15, 20 years it sat vacant. So I didn't know that was possible. I've never seen cotton candy mold. I don't even know what it is.
It's like the muscatcholi in the fridge for you.
It was alive. It was alive.
Wow.
It was scary. And I've seen, like, when it comes to dirty or damage, or I've seen some things that I just didn't know human beings were capable of these things. Okay?
Yes. So we're going to do the train wreck conversations.
Yeah.
So animals in a house leave their path of destruction.
Yes.
What's the craziest animal thing you've ever seen in a house? And it could be stacks of animal memories.
Yeah. Okay, well, so this acquisition just last year was a good one. We found 5 dead cat skulls. Right, so the skulls of 5 dead cats. The lady talked to the neighbor, lady was a hoarder. She was the crazy cat lady that was a hoarder, and the house got vandalized. So it's a trifecta, right? So you got the crazy cat lady, 10, 12 cats from what the neighbor says, right? And
that's what you can see.
That's what and this is a 2,000, maybe 2,200 square foot house, so a lot of room for these cats to run around. She's a single woman, right? And so lots and lots of cats. She gets hurt, the older lady. She gets hurt and goes to the
facility or something.
Yeah, well, she goes to like a rehabilitation place for a while and then goes to the hospital and then she passes away. So these cats live in this house and she don't have no family local. Neighbors apparently were not fond of her. So nobody's in the house. So the cats died in the house, right? And there's 25 litter boxes and you can imagine the hair and the smell and the urine and the I didn't know, like I said, there's things that animals can do and so that's the house. If you look on my little Facebook Live or whatever, we're shoveling the floor. Inside the house, we're shoveling the things off the floor.
That was the one.
That was the one.
That was the
5 cat skulls that we found, right? A couple dead possums in the basement. I mean, this is, and it's a rural property, so you're going to get some of that stuff. But yeah, that was the animal one. I've seen some dog stuff too. They're capable of some crazy things. It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's the animal. That's my best animal one. That just happened last year. So,
all right. So let's talk about So I'm going to add some Jason-isms.
Okay, Jason-ism.
Because there's a lot of Jason-isms.
Yeah.
So you already heard the holy cow. Do it.
What do you mean?
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you just did that a couple of you like
holy cow.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's a Jason-ism for sure. But there's one I'm particularly fond of, and that's not how you do it, right? So tell us a couple examples of that's not how you do it.
Okay, so, and I see it all the time, and I look at a lot of properties. So I do buy some, and I flip property, but I look at a ton, right? And I always walk, and most of them are houses that need work, right? I'm not buying pristine retail houses, so they're houses that have been neglected. But people do creative things. And I don't know if it's Uncle Bob with a case of beer trying to rig stuff up, or if you just YouTubed it and you just thought, I could do this myself. But
I could do this myself.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hashtag.
But
Uncle Bob.
But I see it so often that, and sometimes I'll be walking with somebody. I'm got a coaching student or walking through with somebody. Or even doing I've been trying to do these Facebook Live videos more too, because I find it interesting, and I think some of my friends do too. Just things that you do that aren't right. Here's a great one I just saw not that long ago. The door opens, right, and there's stairs coming here. So instead of trying to make the door different or what, they just cut a notch a hole in the door so that the door can open all the way under the stairs, right? And you look at it, it's like there's a closet. I'm looking at a closet. There's a closet, and there's just a hole going into the closet. And these cats are living like this. That was the best solution to the problem. There was nothing else you could do. You know what I mean? Right. And you just see that all the time. Or plumbing and electric. That's a safety issue. That's not just cosmetic. These are problems, and people are living in these homes. And then, you see a house catch on fire, and it's I could think of 100 reasons why that happened, So yeah, a lot of DIY kind of stuff that causes that, and I get it. If you don't have money and you think you can fix it, or your neighbor or your friend they tell you they know what they're doing. So I see a lot of crazy stuff, and the comment always comes to my mind is, "That's not how you do it," and I see a lot of "That's not how you do it," So
we have one of our clients is a property manager, and he shared a story, and I'm just curious if you'd ever heard anything like this. So his story is he goes into this house, they look at the house, he's looking at it on behalf of his client, and so it's a kind of cash as is.
Okay.
They knew they were going to have to upgrade the electric in there because it was just older, and so they buy the house, and they come in, and there is no electric. There's no panel, nothing. On the back of the house are like rows of extension cords.
Oh my God.
They come to another house, just like and stapled up.
Oh, so it's not
right.
nice.
So they're secure. They're secure. But I gotta imagine that's not how you do it, right? So, all right. So another thing you say all the time.
Oh, my favorite one is like, and I always tell people, it sums up a lot of things to say the might as wells, right? So especially on a rehab, right?
I now say this.
Dude, it's in your vernacular, right?
It's like it's tattooed.
Right.
Might as well.
But you've experienced it, and so now you have.
We might as well the hell out of Nexcore.
That's what I'm saying. You start off with this plan, and it goes. Whoop. So
we came in for an this will sum it up before you say it.
Yeah.
We came in for an 800 square foot little piece, so we can have a little private office. And we thought, well, if we have that, we got to have a place
might as well.
for somebody to work, somebody else to work.
Right.
We might as well add this. We might as well add that.
Right.
We got 30,000 square feet
Of might as well.
And might as well. I have a problem. I meet on Tuesdays with a support group.
Right.
Might as well.
There you go.
Explain the might as well. Some might as well.
There should be a support group for that.
There should.
Stand
Let's
up.
start that.
My name is Jason.
I might as well.
Got a bad case. I might as well. So like, and you can imagine this in your own personal home, right?
Right.
And because I'm a man and I can do stuff, my wife has a lot of plans for me. Right? She's gonna look up on the Pinterest, and we're gonna have to do this project. So we do a project.
Pinterest is a 4-letter word.
Oh man, that's the devil.
Go ahead.
But you take on a project, right? We're gonna put new ceramic tile in the bathroom, right? Floor's dingy, cracked tile, whatever. We're just gonna put some new floor in the bathroom.
$1 square foot, some grout, some sweat equity.
Knock it out
30 square feet.
Weekend.
You're done for $50.
That's it. Knock it out in a weekend.
But
So then, the conversation, you go to the Home Depot to get the tile, and well, if we're going to put new tile, we might as well put a new toilet, because the toilet's got to come out anyway, so you might as well do that.
But
Then so
if you get a new toilet, does it match like the vanity
and the tub and the so now, well, if you're going to get the new toilet, new tile, you might as well get the new vanity. Well, the top is not going to match the new vanity. You might as well get the new top. But if you're going to get the top, then you might as well get the faucet, because that doesn't match either. And then the mirror doesn't match.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, the ceramic floor that was damaged led to 12 might as wells, and you're gutting your bathroom, right? And now when you do that at your own house, it sucks, right? And it costs you some money.
But it's your house.
And you live there, and you make it the way you want, and you got to use that bathroom every day, right? When you're flipping a house,
sometimes a couple times.
Well, it depends on your
drink
diet.
a lot of water.
I drink a lot of water. I got 4 kids. I'm wiping butts. I'm doing all kinds of things in the bathroom. This is live. We can't do it. Okay, so on the edit, we'll get that out.
Right. No, we won't.
But so the might as well is on a rehab, right? You're trying to make money. So you buy, I just throw these rough numbers. You buy a house for 50, you put in 20, you sell for 100. That's a great little mathematic formula that most people could see. Yeah, that works. That sounds good.
Those numbers look good.
On paper,
right?
And on paper, there are no might as wells.
Right.
But in real life, the might as wells keep popping up, and they don't stop. And here's the best part is I'm working with a married couple right now. And it's just interesting to hear each person's perspective about what matters, what decisions you would make. And I like to view other people. I'm a people watcher, right? I like to analyze the psychology of why people do what they do.
You're a flamingo.
I am a flamingo, apparently. I haven't done the test, but
we'll talk about that. What animal?
Okay, so
we were just told to
wrap it up. I know. I'm just keep on talking. So. But real quick, so the might as wells, right?
She's pointing the desk.
The might as wells, they'll kill you in a rehab every time. And you have to have a clear, concise plan, and don't vary from the plan unless it's a have to. See, The might as wells are offset by the have tos. So if you have to do it, you have to do it. But the might as well's got to stay away. So that's that rabbit hole. What other rabbit holes you want to go down?
So let me ask you this: what happens when you have to do a might as well?
Oh, that's a dirty combination.
But anyway, so goodness gracious, any other Jason-isms? Because
I don't know.
I can hear a lot of forget about it.
Forget about it.
Right, I hear a lot of forget
about it means a lot of things. I forget the movie, whatever. Donnie Brasco is the movie, but forget about it means a lot of things. So I say that phrase a lot, and it just means a lot of different things. So when I'm upset the contractor didn't do the right thing, and I'm telling somebody else, I just don't want to forget about it because I just want to forget about it because I don't want to choke this guy. You know what I mean? I can't say that. Damn.
But you just did.
I just did.
Right?
I can't
and I'm not discarding. We're keeping it.
But no, so like forget about it. But it just comes out. You know what I mean? I don't think about it. And then like you said, the Jason-isms or whatever, I'm not like, I don't, the might as well is just, I keep hearing the phrase, we might as well do this, we might as well do that. So it's not like I made that up. It just acknowledging that it's there and noticing that it keeps coming up in my vernacular, other people's language. So
can we get a hashtag F the might as wells?
There you go, F the might as wells.
Right.
All right, I like
that's
that.
That's not how you do it.
That's not how you do it.
Right. So
forget about it.
Forget about it. A couple other things. So this is funny. If Jason gets hit with something he doesn't expect.
Okay. So
do you know what you do?
What?
I bet you everybody that knows you, like, if you hear something, you go, "Wow."
Yeah, I do. I gotta get it out. Just gotta blow it off.
Like, but on the phone, it's like because you're blowing into the phone as you're turning. Anyway, but
I do a lot of weird things.
That's not how you do this.
That's not how you do it.
Anyway, so I wanna wrap up. We've got a lot of exciting things happening for you. We're honored to be a part of what you're going to bring out, but all those little hints that we've been dropping. Look for big things to come. We're going to have a forum where people can get directly to Jason, but not just Jason, the network of people that he's put together to share what's going on in the St. Louis real estate market, to share what's going on because it's so unique, what you are putting together. And I can't let all the cats out of the bag because 5 of them are dead in that lady's house, right? So just a skull. But there's a lot that you've got going, and it's going to be an exciting time. And you've got, having known you for more than 20 years, 30 years almost now.
Now we're old. You're dating us. Don't do the math on this.
F the age. Hashtag. I know the biggest asset that you have is your heart. And you are a giver. I know that of your family. I know what you do. So for those of you that are considering a career in flipping or real estate, part of what Jason is trying to put together is something real and tangible where you have resources to come to and facilitate part of that. So I just want to, without giving away any details, can you share in 20 seconds or less?
That's a challenge.
The answer is no. So 30 seconds, no, can you share in 20 seconds or less, nothing about the concept, but why you wanted to do it? Without giving too much away, because that's coming soon, about a week. Count down, people.
Okay, so I feel like I've learned a lot from people who have done more than me, have more experience, and that's the best kind of learning, and that's what's had me be successful. Mm-hmm. So we live in a world where social media allows for a lot of people to be able to have access to this information. Before, like,
shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah,
Gary V.
Love Gary V. But so like I've been involved with a lot of real estate investment clubs and I've networked really well my whole life. That's how I've always stayed in business. Just network. Well, now we have social media allows you to network 24 hours a day with a ton of people. Right.
Globally.
So we're kind of taking the old school concept of networking and building rapport with people and having collaborative efforts with social media. And I don't know how to not give away too much information, but okay. I believe in win-win deals. So when I go to closing, when I buy a house from somebody, I want hugs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I'm helping them, and I believe that I'm helping them, helping the neighborhood. We're raising tax revenues. I mean,
creating jobs,
absolutely. So much good comes from this. Now, don't get me wrong. Just like in life, there's going to be some bad apples, some bad seeds, right? there's people come in and take advantage of the little old lady and swoop in and steal her house, right?
Right.
That's going to happen. But there's a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues out there doing good things for the community. Neighbors love us. The people that get to relieve themselves of this problem with real estate attached. So we didn't even get into that, but like as a real estate investor, I don't buy houses. I fix people's problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I believe that philosophy, when you understand that, then you approach the whole business different. So if I can help someone that wants to get started or maybe transition into something else and just take that mentality, that's what I'm hoping to spread. That's what I'm hoping to help other people to get to that point where it's fixing problems, helping neighborhoods, doing good. And I love St. Louis, so if I can start here and we can really make some changes. And so I want to highlight some of the people that are already doing those great things. People that are interested in it can show them how to get started the right way. So, is that good?
Yeah. Do you see this?
That was 30 seconds.
This is your 20 seconds. This is the real 20 seconds.
I know, right?
So we'll.
I got problems.
Lots of great. Yeah. No, but good problems.
Okay.
Good problems. I appreciate you being with us today. I appreciate you sharing some insight. I think this probably warrants a part 2. I've never said it warrants a part 2 for Member Spotlight because I know you and I know there's more to share. Some struggles. I want to hear more about how you and your wife got together. All those things. So maybe we have to do a part 2 with Jason.
All right. That's awesome.
And man, what you're doing is so exciting, and I'm just grateful to be.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me yip on and on about my stuff. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So beginning next week,
Monday.
those of you that want to reach out to Jason can reach him at 314-282-4STL. So I don't know what those numbers are, but the STL, you got to look at your phone. I think it's 785. Oh, 785.
It's that new math.
314-282-4785. You can reach Jason, or you can reach him at Nexcore here. So thanks so much for being with us. Tune in next time. I don't know who's coming up next, but I don't know how they're going to follow this. So thanks for watching.
Hey man, thanks so much.